At the beginning of episode 7, all the corpses were being taken out while the front man was observing this. He then ordered to find the intruder as quickly as possible because the VIPs were also about to arrive. Meanwhile, when all the remaining people came back to the hall, they noticed that Hun was still there, and then Jane asked her how she managed to survive. The sister replied, "Why are you so shocked? Actually, Guts told me that I am the console chain, so they let me stay alive here. Just like in the game, without playing in childhood, we used to set aside the weak people." And even now, 17 people were still playing there. On the other side, the frontman informed one of his bosses about the VIP's arrival. Then as the frontman advanced, he felt something was wrong. He then took out his gun and said, "I always keep my phone upside down, you forgot this." Then the frontman started checking all the rooms. All the frontmen said that "You are a cop, I figured that out too, and we need to talk." From there, the frontman went to stop the data flow, but he was hiding there, though the frontman was informed from outside that they had taken the lesson underwater, so the frontman went back. On the other side, Jun was infuriated. Along with his special friend's death, Bee and Sorrow were both saddened. Then Joe said that you shouldn't be sad because to win we had to kill someone directly or indirectly. And look at that couple where a man named Chaum survived. Then Chaum stepped forward and said he wanted to get out of here because he didn't want to kill anyone else and needed the support of mature people. But no one stood up and Chaum started shouting, "There, someone says you killed your wife with your own hands, so now she won't come back. Also, you came here of your own will, so why are you shouting now?" On the other side, the front man learned about the dead man. Moreover, he saw that from his clothes it was Jun the policeman. A little later, 6 VIPs arrived there. So the front man met with his boss and informed him about the VIP's arrival, and the boss put on his mask. And who he was will manifest later during the game. Subsequently, the frontman convened with the VIPs, expounding that the game's host is unable to meet them today and that he will be tending to them. The VIPs consented given their affluent English descent. Everyone progressed. Observers of their procession headed to the control room designed for the VIPs. The wealthy patrons had wagered substantial sums on the competitors, and an elderly man by the name of Matt was visibly irate upon witnessing that Choim was on the brink of self-elimination in the match. Mockery ensued regarding his badge number 69. At that juncture, I declared my wager of $1 million on him. Subsequently, all attendees migrated to their respective accommodations. In the background, the guards distributed beverages to the VIPs, during which they intercepted one amongst them. The incognito individual activated the camera on his phone, attired himself in the guard's garments, and proceeded ahead. The following morning, it was apparent to all that Choim had perished. His winnings consequently augmented. The commencement of the 5th challenge was imminent, with all 16 contestants advancing. Concurrently, the VIPs resided in the monitoring room, while Matt relished his libation. Inquiring about the forthcoming challenge, the frontman elucidated the impending game known as Stepping Stones. On the counter side, the contestants had the task of selecting their sequence number from 1 through 16. The middle numbers were chosen, and the VIPs understood that the middle numbers were less risky compared to the first or the last ones. Everyone showed understanding, and the frontman announced that their turns would come according to the numbers, but would they be from the start or the end? Shock didn't understand and went for number 1, but also wanted a number from the back. Subsequently, the siblings opted for sequence numbers 14 and 15 respectively, cornering Shock into choosing either number 1 or 16, and he opted for the former. However, an individual approached and implored him, expressing a desire for number 1 as a symbol of his habitual position trailing in life's endeavors. "And today I want to prove myself brave, so will you give me number 1? Then Song agreed and the man took number 1. Then I got angry again because he had placed his money on number 19-6, and everyone started laughing again because 69 and 19-6 were reverse numbers, and VIP had a sense of how 19-6 would place. Then the frontmen started the game. Everyone lined up and came to the bridge. They were told that there are 2 glass panels in front of them made of tempered glass and regular glass. One is a tempered glass that's strong enough to hold 2 people, while the other is ordinary glass that will break. They had to identify the correct glass and move ahead. There were 18 pairs of glasses ahead. The players had to cross and go to the front, with number 19-6 being the first to go. His death was fixed, making the show the luckiest player unintentionally. And so the countdown began and contender number 19 advanced. He correctly set foot on the first pane, yet plummeted through the false second and perished. All the VIPs observed as Matt complimented Juno's visage. Subsequent in line, a woman stepped forward, picking panes haphazardly, and she too succumbed. In due course, participant 3 progressed, choosing to dash hastily in hopes of crossing before the pane shattered, navigating hazardously forward. Yet, he succumbed to a fall after covering a fair stretch of distance. The remaining contenders shadowed his path, oblivious to the sequence he had attempted. The 4th player inquired of the 5th, to no avail. Player 4 ventured forth and met his demise, prompting the others to proceed with caution, laying the groundwork at the peril of their own mortality. At the threshold of action, with Shuing and Baby poised to proceed, 6 stood hesitant. Subsequently, number 7 approached from behind and attempted to jostle 6 aside, only to be cast down by 6 in retaliation. Then he became aware of the transparent barrier, and so he stepped ahead. Shortly thereafter, player 6 realized Jane was trailing and might cause his fall. Thus, he hastened his pace, yet he also misstepped and plummeted. Now at the forefront, Jane understood he had to discern several barriers in front, escalating the peril. He declared, "I shall advance no further. Let another take my place." Subsequently, player number 10 exhibited a willingness to forge ahead. Jack then proclaimed, "I accept the fate that awaits us all, otherwise proceed in my stead." Concurrently, Matt questioned Chuno, "Reveal your identity." To which Chuno retorted, "Revealing myself means death." Matt countered, "Then you're equally vulnerable to my actions." Joe interjected, taking Matt's hand, "Let's depart this place together." Thereafter, I guided him away, and the remaining contestants urged him to savor the presence of player 69. Chuno's countenance was revealed to Matt, eliciting his plea, "Grant me joy this instant." Subsequently, Joe apprehended him and led him to a lower level, where an embrace ensued. Next, Joe aimed his weapon and demanded, "Confess the day's happenings without deceit." As the final 5 minutes dwindled, player 10 stepped forward, at which point Joe executed the final act of betrayal. Observing her, Jackie was overcome with panic. Han chided her, "When did you become so frightened? I always knew your fears. I'll take the lead now." Overjoyed, Jung attended his lecture and seized Jane, uttering, "I warned you of the consequences of betrayal. Now face them." Powerless to fight back, Jane was led by Han towards the next barrier, where their shared fate was met. The remaining players moved forward. Player number 13 said, "I've worked in a Hyderabad glass factory and I can identify the glasses." Then he started inspecting the glasses and identifying them with the light, moving forward. Then the hobbyist says, "Why didn't you tell everyone this before?" Then the number terror says, "Everyone has always tried to kill me, and so why should I help them?" And then he was going easy ahead. Then the VIPs were also shocked to see this, and the front man saw that number 13 had worked in the city glass factory in Hyderabad, and so all the thrill VIPs was ending. And so the front man turned off the lights there. Because of this, the number couldn't see your classes. At the same time, they now had to cross the same glass. On the other hand, a guard noticed that Matt was unconscious, and then he told the front man about this, and the front man left the game and moved on from there, in which the front man understood that he must have escaped through the secret passage of his room, and then he saw him running away from there. I can tell you that I can also identify you from the house. And does anyone have anything? Then Song had a goti, and he gave it to her. Then he tossed it against the glass, wishing for another to listen to its sound. Sang mentioned there was nothing left. Subsequently, Joe proceeded and pulled up your contact to inform you about the final glass. He then crossed the bridge, and later behind and Song followed suit, crossing the bridge, triumphing in the game. And then the sound of shattering glass followed from behind, with shards scattering towards the trio, causing them injuries. Most harmed were those close to the bridge. Meanwhile, the security personnel, upon descending, discovered an oxygen tank was absent, suggesting someone had made an underwater escape. Subsequently, we approached him, and he set off on his boat in pursuit. Spotting a nearby islet, he steered towards it, bringing the most captivating chapter to a close.